My father and I are the same person. We both are somewhat socially awkward, but we don't give it away. We both love football and science and learning about how the world works. But most importantly, I know that if I do something terrible, he's gonna help me hide it. Most importantly, I know that if I do something terrible, he's still gonna welcome me with open arms because that's what fathers do, right? Wrong. Fathers bring you into this world, don't show their faces until you die, and when they do, they'll show you whether or not you're worthy of being with them forever, or if you're going to be tortured in spiritual Guantanamo Bay for the rest of eternity. That's the difference between my father and our father. I imagine if my dad acted like our father in the Bible, then I probably wouldn't be here. I'd have been killed for coming home after curfew, or worse, getting in trouble with my teachers like I always did. I'm at a crossroads here when it comes to freely living my life and being religious. Some might say my confusion comes from my mother being religious and my father being atheist, but I haven't been forced to choose either parent's belief. I'm just somewhere in the middle because I don't quite agree with both sides. It's hard to believe there's nothing after we die, but it's also hard to believe that I would receive eternal damnation for not committing my life to someone or something I've never met. I've met so many people whose lives are fulfilled by believing. The question is always why? And the answer is always that it feels right, or their lives were empty beforehand. Even family members of mine just miraculously turn their lives around, but I can't seem to get there. I can't seem to get over the fact that this belief system is founded on love, but there's so much hate spread, and it's justified because of an ancient book that was mistranslated hundreds of years ago. And as much as I try to run away from said books, the thing rules my life. Laws and policies are based on it. Little excerpts of it are taken out of context in order to dictate reproductive rights, for instance, or who I can and can't marry. In my previous video, How Friendships Die, I mentioned something about my Christian school. I'm sure out of the hundreds of kids there, I wasn't the only one conflicted about my beliefs, and surely I wasn't the only one tired of the sex education there. See, instead of learning how to do the devil's tango safely or learning about consent, which is so important, we were taught abstinence.
Sorry, is the boys' class being taught about pregnancy as well, or is it just us girls? It's just us, is it? Very progressive.
Quiet, Maeve. After getting pregnant, I had no choice but to leave school.
There are always choices.
Out. Now.
Happily.
Right. Now we're going to watch a video of me giving birth.
Unfortunately, most of the countries taught abstinence is the best contraception. So as a result, we have one of the highest teen pregnancy rates in Southern Africa, and because of laws stemming from a book thousands of years ago, abortion is legal. But it's happening anyway, but not safely, and certainly not in a way that isn't traumatizing to teenage girls. Now, I'm not saying that, underage people should be having sex, but the option should be there, and the option should be a safe option for whoever wants to, do their thing, do the devil's tango. There's so much chaos and hate in this world that I find it hard to believe in anything. Bad things happen to good people. There's child slavery, and while I'm on the topic of slavery, the Pan-African in me cannot overlook the fact that slavery and colonization was justified by the Holy Book to a certain extent. And so were so many holy wars over thousands of years that I won't go into detail about the collateral damage. Sorry, Drake. God's plan isn't this deep, uplifting thing you should say to anyone who's suffering. It feels good saying out loud, but it's toxic positivity, and if you don't know what that is, it's when you dismiss someone's negative emotions and respond not with empathy, but with some dismissive thing like, oh, it's all a part of God's plan, or just have faith. Going through trauma and being told it's all part of this higher plan is the most aggravating thing in the world. How can someone who supposedly loves you unconditionally make you go through something that gives you PTSD? I went to a 10-year-old's funeral a couple of years ago. I won't go into heavy detail out of respect for my family, but long story short, it was heartbreaking. Now, if you're gonna tell me that on that specific day, a mother was meant to lose their child because of some elaborate divine plan, I would never talk to you again. If you're actually paying attention, then you realize what the issue is here. My beef here is not with God, not that I'd win anyway, But my issue is with his so-called children. Everything that was taught to me about religion as a child doesn't apply in adulthood. A lot of the devotees preach about love thy neighbor, but do they practice this if you're a little different? I hear this a lot, that our generation is too sensitive, but I've never seen a grown man be so offended by a boy wearing nail polish. Everything that is meant to be absolute, like not judging others, is conditional. Hopefully this video isn't as misconstrued as the Bible has been, because unfortunately anything can be taken out of context in order to win an argument. Hypocrisy is the name of the game, and it's a game where even the spectators get hit with a curveball. So until Dad sets his kids straight, I don't think I'll join them. I'll observe the message from afar, find beauty in life, learn about other religions, and most importantly, mind my business. But I will not be joining any kind of organized religion until everyone gets their shit together, because I'm not about that life.